Hello and welcome to my tarot corner. So recently I've been having problems with my computer, and this causes all sorts of problems with my phone, and because of that sometimes my phone camera doesn't work, and this happened again. Now I remember telling you in the past, but I will tell you again, there is something that is called a worn out reading. And a worn out reading is when you are reading about the same, you ask the same questions one more than once, then you risk getting the answers that you seek instead of getting the real answer. And it's because of that, when this sort of thing happen, I either choose another question and do another reading, or I discard the reading for that day, or I do something like I do now, and I did it a few times this past few weeks, because this recurring problem is something that I don't know how to solve, and I'm just putting the cards on the table, and I ask you to trust me that I shuffled them very well before I did the reading, and I thought that it was taking the pictures. Okay, so before I start, I just want to tell you something about the future readings. So I'm going to start using a little bit more of Celtic, fairy, gnomes, saucers, tarot in the near future, and a little bit more about the hidden realm. The first tarot deck that I'm going to use today is called the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. But there are so many tarot decks and oracle decks that are dealing with this realm of the unknown, of the creatures that are mythological creatures, or creatures that are of the history. So I'm going to start using more decks of this sort in the near future. But I did request, and I am in my video, and I'm going to repeat that, that if you have a request, if you have a deck that you want to see me use, you can make a request, and I have a vast selection of tarot decks, most of which you haven't seen, so I might have it, and if I do have it, then I can use it. So you can send me an email. You can see my email in the description box, or you can put it in the comments. And if you saw another tarot reader use a deck that is of any interest, or you want me to use a deck, please just write me an email and I will do that. Okay, so what am I going to read about today? So first I want to say something. This is something that I really am angry about. And this is because the first person that talked about the pictures, the paparazzi pictures, the recent paparazzi pictures of Harry and Meghan, and the probability of them not being legitimate, or the possibility that it wasn't Harry there, or that it was that they were photoshopped, was the royal grift. And after she did a video about that, nobody talked about it. Then the royal grift, the royal rogue, did a video on these photographs, and he did not speak about the possibility that these photographs are not legitimate at all. But a day later, it did do a video, and he put the question of whether or not they are both of them in the same in the pictures in the same time. The royal grift actually said that she doesn't think that it was Harry there. The royal rogue said that he thinks that the pictures were photoshopped or doctored by any other way. But after he said that, a lot of other YouTubers came out with citing him about it, if it's according to Taz, if it's Bidina or the Sidley twins. And it seems like there is this cabal of a few Mexiters that are giving these, I don't know, well, helping each other, but there is no real help between all of the Megxit community. And I wish that people would have been more open to other people in the Megxit community, especially the royal grift, who does deserve a lot of respect for the very thorough investigations that she does. So I will link below her video. I will link the Royal Rogue video as well. Okay, so I'm going to try and look into this question. Now, I have to say that the first conclusion that I got after doing just the tarot was different than the one that I got to after reading the oracle deck. So now I have to be very careful when I am rereading the cards in order to give you the information as it was before I knew what oracle cards I'm going to pull. Okay, so the first card was the situation as it is. So what is the situation? Why did they decide to put out those paparazzi pictures? Because you do understand that this was not a coincidence. The photographer that was picked to do those photographs is the same one who opened a YouTube channel with Thomas Markle Jr., Senior, sorry, and pretended to be his friend. And he also took photographs of Thomas Markle Senior. He also took photograph of Harry and Meghan in a polo match, and according to Taz, said that after that polo match and after those pictures, she did a video about that, and Thomas Markle decided to sever ties with him. And he called her, or he wrote her an email asking her to make a video refuting her claim that he is actually his friendship with Thomas Markle is not genuine. She refused, and naturally she was not mistaken in doing that. So I did a reading a long time ago about whether Meghan is the one who instigated the paparazzi shots of her father before the wedding in order to have a good excuse not to invite him for the wedding, and I got a yes answer for that. And now a lot of other YouTubers are coming out with the same conjecture. So I said that a long time ago. Okay, so before I start, I'm just saying that my disclaimer, this is a tarot reading. It is vibrational, it is open to interpretation, it exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true, so please do your own research and decide for yourself. So as I said, the situation card is the Ten of Swords. Now look at this card. This is a different Ten of Swords than we know. The Ten of Swords usually is a card of someone who is in the rock bottom place. He is flat on the ground with 10 swords in his back. He's unable to get up. And I usually tell you that the Ten of Swords is a card that shows us a process, a person that has made mistakes, and these mistakes caused him to suffer immensely. And because he suffers, he drops into this rock bottom place. And when he is in this rock bottom place, he realizes that he needs to learn the lesson from his mistakes. And then he's able to raise his head and see the sunlight coming. We don't see that in this card. What we see here is a woman or a fairy, very, very angry woman that is holding a sword and is ready for a battle. So this is a person that hasn't learned anything from her mistakes, but she's in a rock bottom place. Look at this card. Look at the redness of it. It's full of blood. It's full of black and red atmosphere. So this is a person that suffers a lot, but hasn't learned a thing out of her mistakes. So this is the current situation. We see Meghan, and she suffers despite her rictus green. She is in the rock bottom place. Don't let her mislead you. But she's going out for a war. She will not admit to the world that she made mistakes. She's not learning from her mistakes. She's out there to get everyone who has wronged her. She is going out for a war. So this whole paparazzi photographic occurrence was part of this war to prove to the world that her relationship with Harry is okay, that they are still together, that they are still very much in love, that everything is fine, and this is part of her war. And so what is the story that they are trying to sell us? And the answer that I got was the Lover's card. But look at this Lover's card. This Lover's card is an impossible love. This is a love between two creatures that are not from the same species. We have the green man, and we have either a human or a fairy, but these two are not from the same species. So this is an impossible love. And remember that I always tell you that the Lover's card is about being total, and whether you are total with your love or whether you are total with cutting out things that are unnecessary, redundant from your life, it doesn't really matter. But the story that they are trying to sell is a story of an impossible love affair, of an impossible love that the world does not accept, that they are fighting for their love because they need to fight everyone who is against them, the royal family, the Hollywood elite, everyone that is not accepting that this love affair between a woman of color and a royal man, because Meghan is still trying to sell this story of two people that are completely different from one another, falling in love very naively, believing that they can win everything with their love affair. So this is the Hollywoodian story that they are trying to sell us. This is what they are trying to tell us. So this is what they're trying to do. This is the story. Okay, so the next card is the Truth. And what I got is the Hierophant. So this is a curious card. Why is that? Because the Hierophant has a few meanings. So first, it is about doing the right thing. Secondly, it is about King Charles, because he is the Hierophant, he is the head of the Church of England. So for Harry, he is the Hierophant. And I always tell you that behind every Hierophant there is a devil looming. Because the Hierophant is number 5, the devil is number 15, and there is a very tight connection between good and evil, and the relationship between both is very, very problematic. And it is the devil is always looming behind the Hierophant that is preaching to do the right thing. So here we see the possibility of going back to Charles. So going back to the royal family. Now, in the past few weeks, there have been quite a few gossip stories about that. If you know, from Quora, there is a person called Benjamin Smallbrook. He is very good in recovering all sorts of tea gossip stories about Harry and Meghan. He claims that there is already divorce talks between the lawyers, and that Meghan is demanding a big sum of money, and that King Charles is about to pay her that's $100 million or something, or 100 million pounds, something of the sorts. So there is this involvement of King Charles in their relationship, and I think this is why he popped up here. But as I said, the devil is looming there. The devil is hiding behind the Hierophant. So it's not only King Charles and the possibility of Harry going back to his family. It is also Harry realizing that he needs to, that the only things that he can do are the things that he has done as a royal, that he is not cut for a celebrity life, for entertainment. So when I asked, is it true? Was it Harry there in the pictures? Was it really Harry? And I got the Two of Wands. I said that I believe that it was Harry, that it wasn't a doppelganger. Why? First of all, because the Two of Wands is not a negative card. It's not a positive card, it's a message card, but it's not a negative card, and it's a card that we've been getting for Harry quite a few times lately, and it is a card of someone who is going back to square one, a card of someone who realizes that he has to go back to the things that he used to do, because the new things that he has been doing are not working. So this is Harry realizing that he needs to go back to Africa, go back to the things that he has been doing as a royal, to his charity work. Now, the other reason is because the fairies here are red-headed, and still the intuition works. So when you see a red-headed creature in a card that asks if Harry is there, it's probably a yes answer. But still, Harry is back in square one. He's back doing the things that he used to do as a royal. He hasn't succeeded in anything new from all of the ventures that he tried. And the book is not his success. He hasn't really written it. So he is going back to the things that he used to do as a royal, and this is exactly what the Two of Wands is telling us. So the answer is a yes answer according to this card. And then I asked, was this card photoshopped? And the card that I got was the Chariot card. Now, this is the problematic card. Why is that? Because the Chariot card speaks about getting your dreams come true, even if it means going out for war. And then I looked at the first card that shows us a woman that is going out for a war, and I said, well, probably Harry was there. The Chariot card is also a card of archetypical love. It is a card of destructional love. When the Chariot card comes in a reading that is talking about a relationship between two people, it is a card that shows us a destructional love, a very, very dangerous relationship that consumes the person that is involved if it's not reciprocated. And this felt like it is a yes card. So yeah, it seems like it's Harry. Harry was there, that this card was not, that these pictures were not doctored. But then the Chariot card is also about war. It is also about going out for a war no matter what. So if you are going out for a war no matter what, then you might even go out and pay someone to doctor the pictures and to Photoshop pictures and to do whatever it takes to make people believe that the both of you were together there at the same time. So it was conflicting, and at the beginning I said, well, probably it wasn't doctored, and this is how I laid it to rest at the tarot. Then I asked, what does Harry want to happen? What does he want? And I got the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is about feeling safe. This is about a person that feels threatened, and because he feels threatened, he is protecting everything that he has. Look at this. I forgot how this animal is called. Skunk? Yeah, skunk. So this skunk is protecting his little skunks here, down inside the earth. This is about protecting yours, in every way that you can, because the threat is overwhelming, and usually the threat is not real. Usually the threat is something that exists in the imagination of the person, and because of that, it leads to the Five of Pentacles, which is self-destruction. And this is what is waiting for Harry, because he's acting out of this feeling of threat, an imaginary threat, and he's obsessed with this safety, with this need for safety, with the need to protect everyone around him, every one of his family members, so that he's so obsessed with that he's unable to see reality around him. So he's unable to see that the threat is not real. Okay, so this is what he wants to happen. He wants that everyone from around him will be safe. He wants to know that there are no threats. So what does he want to believe? He wants to believe that next will come the Five of Wands and not the Five of Pentacles. He wants to believe that he's not heading for the self-destruction, but he's heading towards victory. The Five of Wands is a card that speaks about being able to achieve victory if you are getting the right kind of help. And usually it is unconventional help. So Harry wants to believe that he's getting the right kind of help, that he's asking for the right kind of help, that he's therapists that the medications that he's taking, that the drugs that he's taking, that everything that he's doing is the right kind of help that will lead him to the victory. So he wants to believe that from the Four of Pentacles, he will go to the Five of Wands, but not to the Five of Pentacles. So this is what he wants to believe. This is not the natural course of events, but this is what he wants to believe. So what is going to be his next step? So unfortunately, his next step is not to go and find the right kind of help. His next step is the Page of Cups, which is to go on self-medicating, to go on staying with these severe mental health problems, to go on with these addictions, with narcotics, with alcohol abuse, all of these things that he has been doing that hasn't helped, but he's going to go on with this. This is a very gloomy looking card. There is no sunlight here because there is no sunlight in this woman's life. She's a fairy, I think. So this is a card of someone who is not happy, and usually the Page of Cups is growing up to be the King of Cups, which is the whiner king, the king who is not so happy because he feels that he's not getting what he deserves. And this is how we usually see Harry. So Harry is not going to be happy because he still is not changing the way that he is treating himself. He is still going to go on with the same self-medicating, with the drinking, with the drugs, with everything that he's been doing all along. So this was the tarot. And then I started with the first oracle that I took from the Fairy Oracle, the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. This is a vintage oracle deck that I got secondhand, so I got it without the card box. And this card is called Undressing of a Salad. And this little creature here is called, Adroito, and it is the fairy of doing impossible things. And as you know, undressing of a salad is quite an impossible thing to do. And then I thought to myself, okay, so what is impossible here? What is the impossible thing to achieve here? And it dawned to me that the impossible thing to achieve here is to achieve a reliable photo that will convince the world that Harry and Meghan are still very much happy, and as the article said, that they are holding hands and that they are very happy together. So this is an impossible task, and this is what they were trying to achieve here. So this already made me think about was it a Photoshop or was it a real photograph? And this made me think that maybe it wasn't a real photograph, maybe it was photoshopped, or maybe it was doctored in other ways, but it was about achieving the impossible. It was about doing something that was impossible to achieve, not easy. And then I took a card from the SIBILA Oracle cards, and the card that I got was a lot of money. And a lot of money is what you pay to a specialist that will create good doctored, photographed, that most specialists will not suspect. A lot of money is what you pay paparazzi that will come and take those shots and pretend to the world that these shots are genuine. This all costs a lot of money. So this made me think that this is all part of Meghan's war. This is her paying a lot of money to the right people that will take the photograph, that will doctor the photograph, that will achieve the undressing of the salad, or that will the impossible mission of trying to convince the world that she and Harry are still very much the lovers. So this is what we're seeing here, and this is my conclusion. So I agree with the royal grift and with the royal rogue that those pictures are not genuine. Okay, so this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.